It's a special kind of hell when the woman you've loved since high school, the mother of your 3 daughters, vanishes for weeks only to admit she cheated on you for 4 years, because she was bored. And then she wants you back. My wife and I were 40 and 39, married for 17 years, together for 23. We're high school sweethearts. We have 3 incredible daughters, 15, 13, and 11. Our life, our family, our story, it was everything. Then 3 weeks ago it all shattered. She came home from work, frantic, emotional, almost in a panic. Our oldest daughter watched as she hastily packed an overnight bag, crying, distraught, unable to speak, and then she just left. No explanation. Nothing. We tried calling, texting. Silence. Her parents eventually responded, a cold, clinical message. She's safe. Please be patient and understanding. That was it. My wife, my best friend, was gone. I contacted her sister, her brother, even a close work friend. Nobody knew anything, or at least nobody was saying. Her work friend just said she was there in the morning, then gone by lunch. For 3 agonizing days we heard nothing from her. Not even for her own kids. I was left with our 3 girls, trying to manage a life that suddenly had a gaping hole in it. They kept asking, "What happened to Mom?" And all I could do was parrot what her parents said, "She's with Grandma and Grandpa. We just need to be patient." But patience felt like a cruel joke. Every fiber of my being wanted to pack the girls in the car and drive the 3 hours to her parents' house, demanding answers. The kids thought we'd had a huge fight, that we were divorcing. But we never fought. We never fought. This wasn't us. My mind raced, trying to find a logical explanation. If someone died, wouldn't I be the first to know? If she'd suffered some past trauma, wouldn't she come to me, her husband, for support? Nothing made sense. The fear, the anger, the worry, the despair, it was overwhelming. I was lost in a suffocating limbo, desperately seeking clarity where there was only silence. The nights were the worst. After countless hours of agonizing, sleepless speculation, I took the advice of many online strangers and called the police for a wellness check. That decision, it blew everything wide open. What followed was a storm I can barely describe, but the truth, the brutal, soul-crushing truth, finally emerged. My wife, the woman I thought I knew better than anyone, had been having an affair for at least 2 years, probably longer. The other man, her AP as I've learned to call it, had suffered a heart attack and passed away. My mother-in-law and likely my sister-in-law had known about it. They had been covering for her. The betrayal was a physical blow. Still, not a single word from my wife, not to me, not to our daughters. How could she? The emotional whiplash was violent. Depression hit me like a truck, then a raging anger, then both at once. Sleep became a distant memory. I was a zombie walking through each day on fumes. I met with lawyers, started looking into therapy, trying to adhere to all the advice. Avoid alcohol, easy, I don't drink, self-care, working out. My body might be in good shape for my age, but my spirit was shattered. All those years, all those milestones, every laugh, every inside joke, every secret handshake, it all felt like a lie. It was gone. Everything was gone. My wife was my best friend, the mother of my beautiful girls. To her, it all apparently meant nothing. And the how could she questions, they spiraled into a tormenting cycle. I screamed into my pillow, punched the mattress until my arms ached. The only sleep I got was from pure exhaustion, only to wake up again, the mind games starting anew. Any energy I had, I poured into my girls who, heartbreakingly, were trying to take care of me like they were the parents. It wasn't fair to them. By the way, if you're still with me through this unbelievable story, make sure to hit that subscribe button. More raw, honest stories like this are coming. Then came the impromptu visit from my in-laws. They barely spent 15 minutes with their grandkids before pulling me aside, their voices thick with shame and embarrassment. But underneath it, I could sense their urgency. They wanted their daughter out of their house. They pushed hard for me to forgive her, to try and rebuild. I lied. I told them I wasn't sure what my plans were, even though I knew deep down I was divorcing her. I needed the truth from her. I needed her to sit in front of me, to look me in the eyes and explain everything. For 17 years of marriage, 23 years together, 3 kids, countless memories. I deserved that. My girls deserved to know I gave her a chance to be accountable. I wanted to set the best example I could for them. Legally, I couldn't stop her from coming home. My lawyer made that very clear. So, I made a demand, one I hoped would buy me time to heal, time to prepare. She could come home only if she sat down with me, looked me in the eyes, and revealed everything about her affair, start to finish, answering every question without hesitation or deceit. And then she had to sit down with the girls, apologize in person, and answer their questions too. I figured if she was so afraid to face us, Maybe this would delay the inevitable. She'd been texting the girls, repeatedly apologizing, saying she didn't want a divorce. The reality of what she'd done was finally hitting her. The day she came home was awful. There was no hug, no kiss, just a horribly uncomfortable silence. She tried to hug me and I just turned away. I asked her, insisted, that the one condition of her return was to explain her 3-week absence, to show her love for this family. She just repeated, like a broken record, that she wasn't ready. A scream clawed at my throat, but I tried to compose myself. I failed. After what felt like an eternity, I blurted it all out. The 4-year affair, the coworker, the plan to leave me, ghosting her entire family, and now walking back in, refusing the one thing I asked. I told her I wanted a divorce. Her reaction was bizarre. Her eyes wide, body language frozen, she just stood there in the kitchen, staring at the floor. Silence. Not an argument, not a tearful confession, not even anger. Just nothing. For 5 minutes, we stood in absolute silence, the air thick with unspoken chaos. I'd prepared for everything, every scream, every sob, every excuse, but not this. So I started talking. I laid out everything I knew about her affair, adding my own assumptions about how it started, her sister's involvement, what happened during COVID. She just stared at the floor, stoic, silent. The angrier I got, the more composed I tried to be, keeping my voice level, fighting to avoid obscenities. Finally, the anger faded, replaced by a profound sadness. I asked her softly, "What did I do to push you away? Did you ever love me? Was he worth it?" Still nothing. No tears, no apology, no explanation. Just that horrifying, empty silence. It hurt more than D-Day. Then things got worse. Our girls had been eavesdropping. Our oldest daughter stormed downstairs, unleashing all her pent-up anger. My wife, in a flash, ran upstairs and locked herself in our bedroom. That's where we were. I heard her crying most of that night. The girls and I tried to carry on, but it was impossible. I was wrong. I was so convinced she'd drop to her knees, beg for forgiveness, unload the truth to absolve her guilt. This woman once drove back to a farmer's market because she'd been given $10 too much in change. But we weren't worth it to her. Maybe I never was. How could I cohabitate like this? The pain was a constant, searing ache. I tried to fake it for the girls, to say and think the right things. The divorce was filed and I was hoping for an uncontested process. We fell into a miserable routine, avoidance during the week, and she'd leave for her sisters on weekends. My oldest daughter wasn't speaking to her. I tried to be short, indifferent, polite. But one Friday she waited for me in the kitchen. She lightly grabbed my hand, asking, "Is this how you're going to treat me just because I'm not ready to talk about my affair?" It was the first time she'd even mentioned her cheating. I tried to bite my tongue to walk past her, but the girls weren't home. And the rage, it exploded. I unleashed every ounce of pain, every ache, every hurt, every agony I'd been holding back for weeks. I cried, I got loud, I broke down, telling her how broken I was, how much torment I was in. I hated myself for it afterwards. I'd been doing so well, damn it. She got to me. But then for the first time she broke down. She sobbed, uncontrollably, mumbling apologies. And I felt a sick, twisted satisfaction seeing her hurt the way I was. Regret followed quickly, but for a moment, it felt like there was an ounce of compassion in her. I left the kitchen before she could compose herself, telling her to leave me alone. This past week she wouldn't leave me alone. Overly nice, continually apologizing, sobbing, smothering me. Knocking on my door at night wanting to talk. I ignored her sometimes, talked when I could stomach it, until I finally snapped again. But last night something different happened. We went to the garage, sat in my car to avoid another confrontation in front of the kids. And for almost 3 hours she told me everything. It started 5 years ago, before COVID. Her sister introduced them. He was a higher up at a company she wanted to work for and he got her in. Once she got the job, the flirting began. Texts, pictures, more texts, then physical just before COVID hit. She confessed to her sister, wanted to tell me then, but buried it. She claimed she went no contact during lockdowns, but he reached out when restrictions lifted and it resumed. She ended it a couple of times out of guilt but kept going back. She detailed all the lies. Weekend trips with the girls, work travel, traffic jams, issues with her parents, shopping trips. All fronts to be with him. So many lies, and I, the fool, had trusted every single word. She admitted falling in love with him. He was older, divorced, promised her expensive things, vacations, a life she fantasized about. She wanted to escape the responsibilities of family life. She claimed the thrill was too much to resist, that she was just bored with our daily routines. Her confession was incredibly candid, emotional, seemingly honest. I cried midway through. It hurt to hear it all. She then told me how much she loved me, always has, and how she'd do anything to save our marriage. It felt rehearsed. I've been with her for half my life. I know when she's full of crap. I kept my composure better than last time, but still got angry, got a jab in about her AP seeing multiple women, that she was just one of many he'd toss aside. That seemed to really hit her. But the one question I knew I would ask, the one I'd imagined a million times, was this. If he were still alive and she had to choose between him and me, who would she pick? She hesitated. Mumbled, "That's not fair." I pressed her. Eventually she said, "You, of course." And that's when I told her. Her hesitation was the reason I was divorcing her. Because she was lying again. She broke down, sobbing. We sat in the car for a while, just her tears and the silence. I was tired. I told her we were divorcing and we owed it to our girls to be civil, to be great parents, to be present in their lives. And then I said something I'd stolen from somewhere online, something that felt like the perfect, heartbreaking end. I leaned over, kissed her on the forehead, and I told her, "I would have loved you forever." Then I got out of the car and went to bed. Her opportunity to contest the divorce is gone. I still find myself cycling through depression and anger. It was incredibly hard to hear it all, and honestly I could have done without it. She could have lied, made it all up, who knows. But it fit perfectly with everything I'd pieced together. It's never ending. Some days I feel strong, then something else happens and I'm back in the pit. Imagine the love of your life, the only woman you've ever loved, ever kissed, tells you she cheated on you for over 4 years because she was bored. Not because we fell out of love or grew apart or had relationship issues or a dead bedroom. Just boredom. I don't know if that makes it worse or better. So I'm still here, still navigating this mess. What would you have done in my shoes? How do you move past something like this? I really want to know what you think.